What is up, guys? JayFerGaming here and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode. This is round 3, the Bahrain Grand Prix. If you're new to my channel, do remember to hit that subscribe button for my career mode, classic seasons and a number of different series. And if you haven't already, do check out the 2 previous races from this career mode. It's been a fantastic start to the season there. You can see a P8 and that P4 in China. Such great racing with the Haas drivers. It was so enjoyable. Really enjoying this career mode. I do have to apologise for the lack of uploads with the release of the game. I have been pretty busy, which has coincided with the release of the game, which hasn't been that great, unfortunately. But over the next few days, I'll be able to get quite a lot of videos out for you. So the upload rate will definitely increase, and I hope you will be there to view my videos and future content. So you can see in terms of the power unit here, we actually are still after the Chinese Grand Prix here. But yeah, just checking all the parts. I'm not completely sure how I'm going to manage this. It's going to be a learning experience. But I think I'm going to carry this power unit over for practice for Bahrain. I feel like Bahrain is a bit of a power track. So we'll have to change over some of the components for qualifying. And it does seem like the gearbox is actually perfectly fine. But as we move over to the Bahrain International Circuit, we have an upgrade.
Okay, I've got something for you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
So that's great news right there. We haven't had a failure so far. Fingers crossed we don't get any anytime soon. But the front downforce has been upgraded in terms of the front wing, so that's 2 successful upgrades so far, and it looks like we are getting closer and closer to Renault. So by the end of the season, I don't think we'll be able to progress to the 4th best team, maybe around 5th, jump over Renault and Force India if possible. We can see with the performance comparison graph there that we're kind of steady with Renault, and like Mercedes and Force India seems to have made the biggest upgrades so far. So in terms of our current resource points, 819, we'll have to wait till after practice here to make another upgrade. And there we go. We have done practice. We've got enough to make an upgrade for the next race if possible. And I was now changing my engine components. And I'm going to be honest, this was after practice 2. I skipped to qualifying. And I wasn't sure if this would affect our qualifying session, but it turns out it wouldn't. And I feel like we're going to have to manage these so much. And we're going to have to upgrade like the wear to minimize it, because to be moving over to the second power unit already, all parts, is going to be very difficult to manage. I mean, we've only got 4.
Cars are ready, the drivers are ready. We hope you're ready as qualifying is about to begin here in Bahrain.
So we're into qualifying now, and I'm going to be honest, guys, I did feel a little bit rusty. I haven't played this game for about 4 days now, and I just didn't feel very good around the Bahrain International Circuit here. In practice, I actually failed the tyre strategy test, which usually is pretty easy from the first 2 races, and especially on the soft compound, I felt so bad. I mean, that lap put us P6, just behind our teammate, but 2.8 seconds off Sebastian Vettel at the time. So as we got down to our final run, we're currently 7/10 down on P1, and we're currently in 20th place. So I just needed improvement, and I didn't want to be on the back row of the grid. But our second lap is nearly a second up. It was such an improvement from the first lap, getting more and more confident and come to the line. Can we get out of Q1 here? This is our final run, and it's only P16. We don't have enough fuel in the car to go for another run, unfortunately, and I think that is our session over, and it is indeed. We were 6/10 away from getting through, so we weren't anywhere near, and we were a second off Carlos Sainz, so we've got a big improvement to do. And I've got to say that I have increased the difficulty to 102 out of 10 from 100, and damage is now on sim.
You need good racecraft and you need good consistency.
And a little bit of luck too, I'd say. This is one of those circuits where the safety car always seems to come out just at the right time to condense the field together and mix up the cars on different strategies. It's hard on brakes, it's tough on fuel, and the main overtaking opportunity is down into turn 1, where it's easy to outbrake your opponent and potentially have a bit of argy-bargy as well.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, edging out Raikkonen, who'll start P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen, Massa, Perez, Stroll, and Carlos Sainz, Grosjean, Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, and Hulkenberg, Palmer, Alonso, Toro Rosso, and Stoffel van Dorn, Ericsson, and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So the atmosphere is building for the third race of the season. In terms of strategy, I'm just going to stick with what the engineers recommended. Want to be on them super softs to make up as many positions as we can in the early stages. We need a vast improvement on qualifying. Can we do it on race day? 5 lights and away we go. We get a pretty good start compared to Palmer directly ahead of us. Can we get a run on Alonso? Looks like we can. And we've switched to the inside here. We can make a couple of positions off our great start there. Up the inside of Ocon as well. And I want to point out, it is sim damage from now on. I didn't even know that was an option, and you'll see why. Regretting that decision already. We've already got damage. We've gone up the inside of Massa. It's getting very leery here between the AI drivers. The two has to side by side. Double lockup, trying to avoid Magnussen ahead of us. Massa trying to go all the way around the outside. We force him out, and we get ourselves up to P13, but I do know compared to 2016, when you get a bit of damage, like on the front wing, just end plate off the car, it really does affect you. And yeah, I'm going to experience that in this first stint because it's only a slight touch on Magnussen. But honestly, I didn't even know there was a simulation damage option on this game. I thought full was full, so that's what you'd expect from full surely. So we've put that in for the Bahrain Grand Prix and increased the AI difficulty by a couple of switches, percentages, I don't know what you'd want to call it, but at the end of the first lap, Palmer, he's got a run on us and it is pretty easy for him. I don't really want to fight too much right now. I want to stick with the pack ahead of us, see if Palmer can pull us towards that pack. And I was really struggling. I had no pace at all and I wasn't completely sure what it was. Was it the damage or was it that I was just genuinely really slow around here? As Ocon flies up the inside into the final corner, and at the end of lap 2, I was really just feeling so negative about what's going to happen in this race. I mean, yeah, DRS enabled and we're trying to come back at Ocon, but there's not too much we can do. Massa will probably get past as well because realistically the Force India and the Williams are quicker than us, and the only cars behind Massa, the 2 Saubers and the 2 McLarens. So I was dreading the rest of this race, guys, I really was. But I don't know, I felt like we probably should replace the front wing at our first pit stop just to see if that was actually the issue. Massa, easy overtake, we don't have straight line speed. I mean, 2016 career mode, I was always commenting on my car being incredibly quick in a straight line, but yeah, it doesn't look like that's the case. I was playing around with the setup in practice and I just couldn't get into a groove at all. And you know it's bad when you're about to get overtaken by a Sauber, the fastest car, the slowest car in this career, and he's Ericsson, Sir Marcus Ericsson from we had some great memories on 2016, but I am fighting back here. There's no way I'm getting overtaken by Marcus. We do go for a late lunge, up the inside, locking up, going wide. Ericsson's fighting back here, around the outside, a bit of a nudge, and that's great racing from the Sauber driver, but we've got the run and the slipstream. Can we fight back into turn 3, I think it is? He locks up, we go round down the inside and we defend our position, and yeah, this could be a theme of the race, fighting Saubers and McLarens for like 15th or 16th. It's pretty incredible considering we finished P4 in China and just had fantastic pace. Teammates in the pits now, so his super softs only lasted 5 laps incredibly. And Ericsson coming back for round 2, he's got a decent run here. Slipstream, DRS, not sure if he's in rich mix or whatever. Bottas ahead of us has come out, he's a full pit stop ahead after 6 laps. Ericsson, we're trying to force him out, but no, he's got and he's corner cut. He had the outside line which turned to the inside, so he just completely cuts the corner. That's he's clearly been watching my drive and learned that from 2016. But up the inside we go, defending our position again. Alonso getting very close to us. This is a very intense battle for a genuine position of P15. And at this point I knew I'm coming into the pits. I don't want to be involved in this battle. And I want to change the front wing. I just can't cope with the amount of understeer we have at the moment, and hopefully that's what's going to make our car perform better for the rest of the race. Tyre wear wasn't really that bad. I decided to go onto the soft compound instead of the super soft just to try something different. Even though I did struggle on the softs in practice throughout, it was really bad. So here we go. This is going to be a very slow pit stop, and I can imagine we're going to be right at the back of the pack, unfortunately. Under 10 seconds is a good stop for a front wing change, and I should probably remember the clutch. So a decent stop from the guys. I forgot to restart. That's something I've just really got to remember, and the pit exit limiter as well. That's something else I usually forget, but we're coming out miles behind. You can see on the mini-map we weren't that far behind Sainz and Massa before we pit, and now we're absolutely just miles behind. And yeah, what can I say about this so far? Let's see where we are on the track compared to the Saubers and the McLarens, I guess, and try not to finish in P20. That would be something. So, we can see ahead of us, Ericsson and Van Dorn have pit again for the Super Softs, and they're coming out ahead of us. So, now we've got to chase them down, and I do know the problem was the damage with the front wing. I felt pretty good on these softs. I was getting more confident with the track. Bahrain's never been a great track for me, but yeah, the pace was definitely building up. We come... Verline, just ahead of us, comes out the pits. Not that far ahead, so at least we're going to have a battle with someone, hopefully. Unless he does shoot off into the distance, which actually didn't happen, I am thankful to say. But we can see the damage of the power unit and how worn some parts are. We've got a couple of parts on 50% around there, so yeah, they might need replacing for the next race. But we can see that Romain Grosjean has retired from the race on board with Magnussen here, and it looks like it was an engine failure. The virtual safety car's out. Unfortunately, we could have really done with a safety car. That would have helped us so much. And being at the back of the pack, we could have made an extra pit stop and changed our strategy up. So we returned to racing, and we're just trying to catch up to Verline. We were within 1 second for a lot of the time, and I just couldn't catch up. It's a lot like real life where the slipstream isn't that powerful. DRS pulls you closer, but you have to work so hard for the overtake. But weirdly, me and Verline were actually catching up to the cars ahead of us, which I'm not too sure who it is. I'd imagine it's Ericsson, the two McLarens, and somebody else. So I was hoping Verline could pull me towards that pack. And finally, as we go into lap 14, we got close enough to go for the overtake. This was so many laps in the making, and we go for it up the inside. Shouldn't be too difficult. Later on the brakes, we get the car slowed down nicely up to P18. Oh my god, we've made an overtake. That felt so satisfying, because this first half has been a bit of a disaster, I've got to say. And finally, we caught up to the back of Ericsson and Van Dorn, showing our true potential. I feel like we're definitely faster than the Saubers and McLarens, and maybe slightly slower than our teammate. But Carlos Sainz was actually struggling as well. He did start in P10, and he was running in around P13, so his pace wasn't great either. Maybe it's the Toro Rosso just not working well around this track, and hopefully we can be a lot better, a lot more competitive fighting for points in Sochi. But at the moment, trying to get Ericsson, but I'd get DRS on him, but he'd get DRS on Van Dorn, so it kind of negated my DRS. So I thought, I've got to try it somewhere else, and I go for the dive up the inside in Sector 2, and it looks like we've got the move done, but no, he actually fights back on the outside. We're side by side, going into the very tricky braking of turn 10, lockups galore down here, and we've got a nudge from Ericsson. Oh wow. We try and go side by side down there. I get the warning for track extending, because Ericsson just aggressively nudges us off the track there. I've got a feeling in real life that might be a 5-second time penalty, because that was very aggressive and not unnecessary. We'll see on board with Ericsson. I'm pretty sure he's behind us as well as we go into the left-hander. And yes, he is. And wow. Later on the brakes, cuts across us and bam, off the track. So I wasn't feeling happy about that move, and we finally get close enough to hopefully go for a DRS overtake. But no, Ericsson and Van Dorn go into the pits, pitting at the end of lap 16, so you'd imagine they're going onto the medium. So I thought, I'm going to actually go onto the soft compound for the final stint. Tyre wear's not been bad on these tyres, and these tyres were performing pretty well, a lot better than they were in practice. So I did feel like I would be able to get the overcut on Van Dorn and Ericsson. So Massa's coming out the pits, and my teammate Sainz is coming out the pits, so they're nearly a full pit stop ahead of us. So if you think we lost so much time in that first sector, and then the very slow pit stop for the change of the front wing and us not leaving the box, I feel like we could have been battling the likes of Massa and Sainz for maybe just outside the points. But unfortunately, we'll never know, and this could be a race to write off, I'm going to be honest. So at the end of lap 18, we come in for what is hopefully our final pit stop, going on to the soft, slowing for the speed limit line, coming in. Can we have a fast stop from the Toro Rosso guys? That's Alonso that's just pit, so we're looking to try and chase him down. 2.7, that's pretty decent. Coming out, are we going to be close to Van Dorn and Ericsson? It looks like we should be out just ahead of them. We held the pit limiter for a little bit longer than we should have, but we come out ahead of the Sauber and the McLaren driver. That's exactly what we needed to do. Now, We need to make sure we're ahead of Verline for when he makes his final pit stop. As you'll see here, we do get ahead of Verline, who will drop down to the back of the field. We're up to P16 now, so it's a slight improvement on the first half of the race. And now we're looking to chase down Fernando Alonso in the McLaren Honda. 6 seconds ahead of us with 9.5 laps to go. So I felt like that was doable. We were quicker than Alonso, but it was only by like 3/10 to half a second a lap. So we'd have to put in a load of qualifying laps to catch up to the McLaren here. So we're just getting used to the AI difficulty, up to 102 I think. I'm going to keep moving it up every few races, just to like improve my performance, to make it more of a challenge of course. So we're on the penultimate lap now, and we look behind us, blue flag, blue flag. Kimi Raikkonen of course is coming home to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. His AI is just so overpowered, he wins all the time. And there we go, the Ferrari driver has won this race. And on the final lap, with 2 seconds behind Alonso, probably too much for us to close down, of course it is. But Raikkonen on his slowdown lap was really closing up on me. He really didn't slow down. I didn't know the mechanics of that from Codemasters, but yeah, he's celebrating going around the track while I'm trying to finish the Grand Prix. How disrespectful is that?
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
So we end up finishing in P15, unfortunately. Not a great race for us, though. I do hope you did enjoy that race, and please do leave a like to show your support, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. So Raikkonen wins that from Bottas, from Vettel, from Hamilton. Ferrari, Mercedes, then the Red Bulls. Not really any problems for the front runners there. We ended up 21 seconds behind Sainz, so I feel like we really could have challenged him if we didn't have that early damage and our issues in the first stint. But I'm glad we beat the two Saubers and Van Dorn. Unfortunately, we couldn't close in on Alonso, so Raikkonen extends his lead at the top of the standings. Romain Grosjean, after his fantastic start, is still in P5. We dropped down behind the Red Bulls as they scored a few points in that race, and we just want to be trying to stay in the top 10 if possible. I feel like that will be a difficult task. And we really need Sainz to be scoring more points. He hasn't scored it all this season, but 16 drivers scoring points already, so it seems like the points have been shared around quite a bit. Just my teammate, the Saubers, and Van Dorn left to score some points. So in the Constructors, we're down to P6, aiming for P6 by the end of the season, maybe P5 if we're being optimistic. So if you have enjoyed this Bahrain Grand Prix, please do leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already to my channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time out. Goodbye.